bought your wife a $27 million pink diamond with 1MD money.
No, as far as I'm concerned, when it was presented initially to me, it was presented as the gift from Sheikh Mansour, okay? If I knew it was coming from 1MD money, I wouldn't accept it at all.
But Mr. Najib,
who would know where it came from? Who paid for it? We wouldn't know.
Given that your annual official income is less than $70,000 a year, were you not concerned that this was going to look really bad?
There's a culture in the Middle East that expensive presents are given.
But $27 million.
Nobody knew the value. We didn't know the value of the money, okay, or the present. And I can tell you.
But your wife did know the value of it because she'd been with Jolo to the jeweler and looked at this, tried it on. There's records of all of this. How do you account for the fact that she didn't know, or you didn't know, the value of this pink diamond?
I really didn't know the value of the pink diamond. There could be some degree of estimation of the value. But mind you, as head of government, we have received expensive presents from other monarchs in the region. And that is their culture. And that culture is still going on. And I do know that, in other countries, of course, there is a regulation that you have to declare presents. But in Malaysia, there is no regulation.
Well, I understand that there is. If a politician in this country receives a gift worth more than $120 US, then they have to declare it. That's according to the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission.
There is no law relating to gifts from dignitaries from other countries, because I do know that my predecessors also received expensive presents. But there is no regulation for it to be declared or handed over to the government.
Let's go to another member of your family, your stepson, who is a close friend of Jolo. Around 2012, more than $200 million from 1MDB funds, allegedly, was transferred into his Singapore account. He went on to purchase a $35 million condominium in New York, a $17.5 million house in Beverly Hills, and a $41.8 million London townhouse, and fund a Hollywood blockbuster, Wolf of Wall Street. What did you make of his newfound wealth, given that he'd only had a couple of jobs in banks? He'd never produced a film previously. He had no experience in that world. What did you make of his newfound wealth?
He's always been a movie buff, even though... let me just finish it, please. He's always been a movie buff, and his ambition was really to go into the movies. So when it happened that, when we visited Abu Dhabi, MBZ, Mohammed bin Zayed, told him in my presence that we are going to invest in your movies. Okay? So we assume that whatever investment is going to come from Abu Dhabi. So as far as I'm concerned, it was a commercial arrangement.
Yes, but he's bought how many, almost $100 million worth of property around the world. That's not funding a movie, that's funding a lifestyle. Where did he get that money from? The United States Department of Justice alleges that money came directly from 1MDB.
Well, everybody assumed that the money was coming from the UAE side. Again, when you are being presented with that sort of offer, you cannot look beyond it, because you wouldn't know. You just assume that the money's come from the people who want to invest.
But isn't it important, as the Prime Minister of this country, to know where the money comes from, so that you know that you're not going to eventually be compromised?
Sure.
So why didn't, it seems to me that you're constantly saying you don't know where the money came from, yet at the same time, 1MDB was going into massive debt.
No, as far as I'm concerned, I really didn't know it was 1MDB's money, because Mohammed bin Zayed, the Crown Prince, said, we are going to invest in your stepson's movie.
So
That was his statement.
do you now acknowledge that it must have been 1MDB money, given that the US Department of Justice has moved to seize your stepson's properties and he's also made a settlement of $60 million? Do you now accept that he was the beneficiary of 1MDB money?
As far as I'm concerned, it was civil settlement and there is no admission of guilt. That is the position, because if you think that it was settled because it's 1MDB, it presumes that he had knowledge of the money coming from him. He had no knowledge. And I know for sure that if he had knowledge, he wouldn't have accepted it. He accepted it because it was a loan by the Abu Dhabi family to him, especially from the Crown Prince.
What would you say to people who say they don't believe that you're covering it up?
No, I mean, in all honesty, that's the truth. I mean, I cannot. There's nothing I can do if people don't believe it. But that's the honest truth, because my track record as Prime Minister, I can stand by it, because this country has developed by leaps and bounds during my tenure.
Just going back to when the police raided...
Can we... we're supposed to talk about the economy.
We are going to, but there's just a couple of more...
You're talking too much about this.
But listen, there are just a couple of other allegations that I
I don't
need
want to talk too much about it. I cannot talk.
Well, I tell you, I do want to ask you about your decision. You have recently called for the reinvestigation of several high-profile murders to be reinvestigated. That people say that you're...
Okay, right. You can ask that.
That you're linked...
I know you're very fond of this subject. I know that.
Yes. Well, you've recently called for the reinvestigation of several high-profile murders that many say you are linked to. The murder of Alton Tuya Sharabu in 2006, Hussein Najadi in 2013, and Kevin Moraes in 2015. Why didn't you reopen those cases when you were Prime Minister?